This project is my interpretation of my subculture's thoughts on how the museum could bring my subculture, the Hispanic community, into a feared establishment. This digital story project should be a good way to help explain some of the reasons as to why I think this subculture would think that the museum is a place for others. The very first thought by coming to the museum that comes to my mind is a place of culture, animals, and history, all joined together in an interactive teaching session taught by people who would like to teach us about their very own culture. I remember going to the Children's Museum when I was young. The museum was full of really nice things, like tubes to walk through, and after each tube there was a picture and buttons to push. If you had any questions, there was somebody there to help us understand the exhibit. To me, there is nothing like seeing people interact, but for some reason I found myself alone and uninterested in the lifeless pieces of paper telling me it once existed. I walked into the North American Indian Culture exhibit, you know, the one about the Indians and the different types. I found myself staring at a young, lifeless mannequin in hopes that she would be able to tell me something about her culture and maybe show me around. I imagined what I would ask her about the machine she was using, and if she could explain the reason why she designed her blanket so beautifully. My question to her would be something like, what does this blanket signify, and who is this blanket for? Maybe it was for her husband, child, parents, or it could have been a gift or something. So many questions came to my mind. If only she was human. If she just turned to me to teach me about her tribe. This mannequin told me nothing, nor she was able to show me the many things I didn't understand. So I searched for a warrior, you know, the ones you see on television. I think it would have been so cool just to see the feathers, war paint, and weapons they used. To really get to see an Indian warrior tell a story about his tribe and some of the things that they do would really be nice. I could just imagine what it would be like to see a real life ceremony with drums and chanting and drawing the crowds just for them to observe. I really would have more fully enjoyed the exhibit if a real icon, a warrior, an Indian mother, or just some random kid playing with toys that kept them entertained. So I have so many questions to ask the difficult cultures. The true stories about them would let me know in more detail the questions I had. This would have made me believe that the building and I weren't so lonely and very much so empty. Instead, I see the fear museums tried so very hard to hide. I have the reason to believe that if someone came to change the museum experience for a wider range of different cultures in Colorado, they would be turned down by the people who got turned down previously. This fear of offending the investors sounds like a desperate plea for financial help. I was told that it was the investors that pay the bills, and they don't want to anger them. This fear of the ones who pay the bills had set in my mind that in order to keep a job, one must keep the boss happy. If not, we're all fired. I could see in the employees' eyes that at one time they went into the business of changing the museum experience, to change the world, and now that dream is hidden or died. If I could only tell the employees that there are people like me that enjoy a real experience from real people of the exhibited culture. In my mind, I like to be able to create things that defines how I feel inside. For example, I have a truck that I'm working on. This truck is black in color and sits low like a race car. Every time somebody asks me about my truck, I share a story about how I put each part together and the reasons why I feel that it was just right for the truck. I am curious to see the talent in this world and the beauty that each culture provides. For now, my presence in the museum is nothing but a mere inconsistency, and the hopes and dreams of many other cultures' ability to share the knowledge and learn from each other remains somewhat obsolete.